I get it. Star Wars. While tons of us are huge lifelong fans of this property, there's a huge amount of the world, of the population, that has barely heard of this. Or, they know what Star Wars is, they've heard of it, they know it's, movies, but they really don't know details about the plot. I've run into a lot of people in my professional career and in my personal life who are asking me, could you just explain Star Wars in 5 minutes? Well, that's what I'm doing with this video. Okay, maybe it'll be more like 8 minutes, but we're going to make it super simple because there are hundreds, if not thousands, of characters and storylines and video games and comic books and all sorts of stuff, audio plays of Star Wars. It's crazy. There's a lot out there. And a lot of the characters sometimes are hard to tell apart and kind of do the same thing and dress alike. And yeah, you could go out and do some research. There's a lot of cool Star Wars books. There's coffee table books. There's this whole thing called the internets now that has all sorts of information about Star Wars on it. And yes, you could absolutely spend a lot of time learning about this galaxy far, far away. And there's a lot of content out there too, and people argue about what order to watch it in. Well, I'm going to simplify everything. Whether you're new to the brand and you've heard of a few of the key characters, like this is Darth Vader and that this is Chewbacca reimagined as a slipper. Yes, Star Wars merchandise is a $12 billion industry into itself. Or you are just a Baby Yoda fan. Let's kind of jump in because, let's face it, you could be discovering Star Wars for many reasons. Maybe you've started dating someone who loves Star Wars, and you want to get up to speed, and you want to impress them, or at least be able to have conversations with them. Or, it could just be becoming more culturally aware. I mean, Star Wars is part of pop culture, and it's part of world culture. All right, so without further ado, let's jump in and get the complicated stuff out of the way. Because there's only one single complicated thing in the entire world of Star Wars for you to understand. And that's basically that there's a lot of content, and the content has been completely released out of chronological order. If you just accept that fact, everything else is easy. Don't worry about it because we're not going to deal with about 85% of the content. So don't worry about that. Just accept the fact that the movies, the TV shows, everything, it wasn't released from, start to end. It's all over the place. There's movies that take place before movies that take place after movies, that are released before movies, that are released by after movies. But again, 85% of that, not needed, because everything you're going to need to know from Star Wars is basically from 15% of the total content out there. And you really don't have to deal with much. Might be a little controversial to sort of ice over so much, but really we're talking about a very high, super simple version. All right, movie 1, 1977, specifically May 25th, 1977. The movie is called Star Wars, just Star Wars, that's it. That movie is obviously a huge success. It introduces the world to this world, and it's followed by 2 sequels, released in 1980, The Empire Strikes Back, and 1983, Return of the Jedi. These movies are later referred to as Episode 4, 5, and 6. And you might be saying, well, why 4, 5, and 6? That seems like we're jumping in the middle, and that was kind of the whole point, was to start off with the most exciting part of the story, which tells the evil galactic empire, who are basically bad guys enslaving the galaxy, and the heroic rebel alliance that is made up of humans and aliens and droids, which are robots, who are trying to stop the galactic empire. That's basically the overarching story. It's a fight for freedom. It's a fight to restore freedom to the galaxy that's been oppressed by the evil galactic empire who takes away your rights. And the leader, our main hero, is this guy, Luke Skywalker. So Luke is from a desert planet that's way, way out there, and one day he gets visited by 2 robots, which are called droids in Star Wars. The one that looks like a trash can is R2-D2, and the one that looks like an Oscar is C-3PO. So these droids have a message, and they have a message in the form of a sort of 3D hologram that tells Luke that the leader of the Rebel Alliance that's fighting the Galactic Empire is in trouble. Her name is Princess Leia, or Princess Leia, as the pronunciation does change throughout the movies. And her message basically says that Luke needs to find Obi-Wan Kenobi, this old, retired Jedi Knight. Jedi Knights were the powerful wizard warriors that defended the galaxy before the Empire. So she tells Luke to find this guy, and that together they might be able to come rescue her because she's been kidnapped by this guy, Darth Vader. who's one of the leaders of the Galactic Empire and sort of bad guy number one. So Luke plays Obi-Wan the hologram message, and Obi-Wan says, all right, we gotta go find Princess Leia and save her. But they don't have a spaceship. So they go into town and they meet these two guys. Chewbacca is the one that looks like a dog. Han Solo is the one that looks like Harrison Ford. And they happen to have a really cool, fast spaceship called the Millennium Falcon. They all get on board along with the robots, and they take off to go rescue Princess Leia and try to restore peace to the galaxy. Luckily, they are able to team up, and through luck, some rope swinging, some bridge dodging, some blasting, they rescue the princess, have a giant space battle, and temporarily defeat the Empire, and everybody gets medals except for Chewbacca because reasons. So the movie ends, and that looks like it's going to be it. But of course, the movie did huge bank, and it wasn't too long before the public demanded a sequel. So 1977's film is followed up by The Empire Strikes Back, known as Episode 5. So this is the first sequel, or the second movie. So essentially, to make it super easy, Obi-Wan Kenobi tells Luke that if he wants to continue to train to be a Jedi Knight like he was, he needs to go seek out Yoda, who is a very powerful Jedi Master. Luke continues his training and tracks down Darth Vader, and they have a big climactic battle. Darth Vader reveals a super secret to Luke that I'm not going to spoil here, and basically, he beats Luke up. And Luke recovers with Leia and the droids, and the movie ends on sort of a sad note, knowing that the Empire has struck back. Well, the third film in this original trilogy, Return of the Jedi, completed the story in 1983, and it essentially picks up where Luke, after he was beaten by Darth Vader, now trains even more and is almost a full-fledged Jedi Knight. Again, a wizard warrior who has a laser sword. A giant, biggest space battle ever in the original trilogy occurs. Even the Millennium Falcon is there. And the Rebel Alliance is able to beat back the Empire while Luke tracks down Darth Vader again. They have another lightsaber duel with those laser swords there. And Luke beats Darth Vader, goes back to his friends, and everyone's happy. The Empire has been defeated once and for all in that giant space battle, and we're good. All right, so that was 4, 5, and 6. So again, why release out of order? Well, 4, 5, and 6 were the more commercial movies. 1, 2, and 3 were released 20 years later, and they basically tell the backstory of how we got to where we were in episode 4, 5, and 6. Remember Darth Vader? Well, 1, 2, and 3 tell the mystery of where Darth Vader came from, essentially, his origin story. All right, well, then fast forward, and Disney, with a D, see Mickey Mouse, I know how to pronounce things, Disney purchases Star Wars and then makes more movies now that they own it. So they make movies called Episodes 7, 8, and 9, which are sequels that take place after Return of the Jedi. Again, like I told you, bad chronology. And you really don't need to worry about these movies because essentially they're just a remake of Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. All right, so that's basically it. 3 movies, 7 characters. If you know that, you're doing pretty good. Oh, and if you want to know where Baby Yoda fits in on all this, because you've probably heard of him thanks to, merchandising, well, Disney has a streaming channel called Disney Plus, and on it they have several original shows. Their premiere Star Wars show is called The Mandalorian. Just tells the story of kind of a badass bounty hunter, and one of the bounties that he has to protect is this Baby Yoda. That's basically it. At least that's the super simple version. And now you know. That's Star Wars in, wow, how did we do? Under 10 minutes. Nice. If you have any questions, if there's any clarification you need, let me know in the comments below. I try to answer every question, or at least every comment, and read every comment. Share this video with others. It's the best way to support the channel. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.